Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So today is update day, a week after Module 29 has launched. So here we have the patch notes. We'll quickly run through it, at least the parts I find are the most important to note. Although we just have a few general fixes there, like the brightness of the Fade Touch illusion being reduced and Dragonborns finally being able to use the relaxing summer chair emote from the summer festival. You'll be able to obtain that and now properly be able to use it. Those of you who like your collections, these companions were fixed so that you should properly be able to get the points from them, adding them to your collections essentially, and then same with the Celestial Bear and Starry Carpet. Just be aware you have to equip them in order for them to actually be added and unlocked in your collections. But then we have the new dungeon, the Lair of the Mad Dragon. There's a few bugs in there and they did get around to fixing some of them. So Balrath the Vile should no longer be able to escape his boss arena. I assume this would mean either getting him through the barrier out of just the arena in general or having him fall off. The bug where he could just jump off could very well be fixed, which means you're not going to get those like crazy speed runs right now. People were posting accomplishments of getting a completion at like 17 minutes and it was quite ridiculous. You even looked at the pain giver board and could see there's over 500 million damage missing, and that was a clear indicator they cheated in this boss fight and put the boss over the edge rather than fighting him at all. However, there is no word as to the information of this. As you can see, the summoner got like put over the edge. There's no mention of this. I would assume they would have fixed that too if they thought it was important. You never know though. Okay, devs can be super ignorant and not even be aware, despite people posting videos and messaging them with bug reports and things like that. But moving on, Lair of the Mad Dragon will now properly only drop the shards of Hex Locus in Master difficulty. This means you can no longer run advanced version of the dungeon to get that currency, which means you still are going to find some people who have collected enough of this currency to buy like a piece of mythic gear here. You might see them running around with the boots and you might think, whoa, they completed Master, when in fact they could have just done Advanced and obtained it. Quite expensive here still, but very, very well doable if you can get those. You can get 5 per week and we've had 2 weeks now, last week and this week already, where you could obtain those. I don't know if the devs are doing that on purpose because it's exactly been like that for the past 2 modules as well. The advanced version of the dungeon is also dropping the Master Pacific only currency, allowing you to buy that gear if you actually played those 2 weeks. If it was an intended thing, I would think that's fine, I guess, incentivizing further the Head Start pack. But it also is just an unfair advantage, like basically pay to win. It is just quite hilarious that the same bug is here again from the past few modules. They did not learn from their mistakes. But moving on, we have the second boss. The cast animation no longer plays a bit before the visual effect, and this ability now fires more slowly in non-master versions of the dungeon. This potentially could be her cone attack here with Misriel. Like it just got me there even though I had moved out of it, but it could also have been due to lag because you saw when I died I ended up getting to have moved back closer to where the cone was. But yeah, it could be a misalignment issue here with herself, although they are not slowing the attack of that in the master version, only in the non-master versions. Then we have the Charlefac's voice volume has been increased. So you may have been fighting him, getting voice lines as you see over there, and not actually getting them at all. I wouldn't hear them whatsoever, regardless what volume you had them at. So they probably just didn't work, and now they're fixing them. Then in Mount Hope, now the new area there, they've gone and unburied a scrying stone. So you can go search that out if you hadn't already found it. Same with one of these skill notes, which was buried. And they did make some additional adjustments for the lava and collision issues. For the future events, Celebration of Lyra, they just fixed a bug where you were unable to interact with firework crates while on the daily mission. That will be, I guess, for next year. With combat and powers, the Heart of the Black Dragon has now separated the debuff, the armor melt. Basically, I think what they're doing is when they come out with the new artifact, which is gonna have armor melt, it will not stack with this. The Heart of the Volcano will not stack with Heart of the Black Dragon, which is unfortunate, but fair enough. And people wondering where this is going to come from, it will be the next lockbox in like 2 months. The Foxfire lockbox. With regards to the Barbarian class, you'll no longer be able to abuse your Impatience class feature by spamming Battle Rage, giving you a ton of cooldown reduction. With classes, the Wizard, Ray of Frost will now be visible by other players, so you'll actually be able to see them casting it, like the beam, rather than just looking a little bit weird pointing in the air. With the companions, Xuna is getting nerfed. It is only a 5% nerf, so not that big of a deal, and she'll still be a very powerful like hybrid companion, particularly in both multi-target but single target. You can see her on the list here, like 42,682 DPS against a single boss. So still very, very solid damage. Then there were some item power fixes, so like Bobby the Barbarian, the damage bonus should apply to certain powers. There's a Dragonbone Wand, Myconid, Soulsat Crystal, Underdark Empowerment with the set bonus, Wild Magic, and Heavy Gravity. Also the 5% version of Combatant's Advantage will no longer briefly stack when you have the 10% version. This is somewhat important because it means you cannot have this helmet, which can give 10%, and also use the ring, which gives 5%. You can use either or, and it is of course just the helmet the better option because that's 10%. And then finally, the mount power, the Pegasus, is getting fixed, so it'll now deal damage based on the target's critical avoidance rather than the caster's. And Grand Inspiration no longer deals a small amount of damage to nearby allies. With items and economy, finally, they fixed the Weaver Scepter to no longer be held upside down. It has been over a year since we got that trial, and they're only doing it now. Okay then. But you can see that here. Your staff is now actually held properly. Your holy symbol. Otherwise, there were some adjustments where like buffs were displaying as white boxes and they should now have proper icons. You'll see that here, for example, with Fiery Predator, it will now actually show that there rather than just a white box. Same with the Wild Space Predators. There were some updates to tooltips with Mystic Inspiration no longer incorrectly stating an increase to Divinity. Description to Fiery Predator has been corrected to state that the damage is increased in fire-themed maps, and this does not impact the functionality. Basically, it had said Wild Space instead, but yes, it is just fire-themed maps. And finally, just some updates with the languages French, German, Italian, and Russian. Overall, that is the patch notes for today. Again, be aware of the fixes and adjustments in the new dungeon. You will not be getting master currency in like advanced. Balrath the Vile will no longer be able to escape his boss arena, either by falling off or teleporting out, which should mean that it's not as easily abusable. Overall, thanks for watching. A special thank you to all of these channel members, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.